Hello, viewer. My name is Braynoski.
And I'm Austin Morales, and you're watching The Inner Gamer On.
And today on The Inner Gamer On, we are going to be talking about the Game Awards. We're going to talk about some of the winners that got all the great awards. We're going to talk about a lot of the world exclusives that were showcased, talk about some of the weird shit that happened, and a lot more. Let's dive in.
And as always, if you enjoy this content, make sure to like and subscribe and bang that bell because we know you want to.
Bang it! Anyway, so let's talk about some of the Game Awards winners real quick. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to talk about some of the highlights, such as Best Narrative went to... Actually, Disco Elysium took home a lot of awards.
Surprisingly.
And it makes me more want to... I don't know if it's that surprising. I think it's awesome. Like, it's been getting such good praise across the board.
Like, you know, we interviewed these guys. You can go check out the interview on the Inner Gamer, youtube.com/InnerGamer. Interesting game. Like, it seemed really cool, and it's like, I want to play this game. It's an indie game from Europe. I forgot which country, or maybe it's from, I forget, somewhere over on that side of the world. You know, it just seemed like another indie game. Not to degrade it any, but it didn't seem like it's a lot of indie games that are cool and have a cult following. They never really pick up. Like, I don't know where this one came from, but it just came out of left field, and people love this, and somehow it has spread. Estonia. And like, it's amazing how big this game has become when looking at it back at South by Southwest, I don't know, 2017 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how did it do it? Like, I'm not denying that it's a good game, but you don't see a lot of indie games like this pick up and take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it started. I think it was just the promise of all the choice in the storytelling. I mean, this is like a D&D cult following of people. Like, I heard people say that this is the closest they've seen to D&D, which that's what people were saying about Divinity. Mm-hmm. And I've heard countless people say that this is their game of the year.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Like, for Divinity, it makes sense because it's that fantasy, and automatically there's a huge group of people who are into fantasy stuff. I don't want to say it's post-apocalyptic, sometime in the future, something like that in a different universe.
Well, D&D is in like the choice and the flexibility of choice that you have.
I understand. But from like a marketing perspective, I mean, you compare the two, or in the same realm of choice, I just feel like it makes sense that people fall into Divinity easier than they would fall into this.
I really want to play this game because it's just the things I've been reading about it and that people have been saying about it. Like, I've heard some people say this is the best game that they've ever played. And I'm like,
well, they say that about a lot of games.
I know, but like, these are people that talk shit about games all the time. I'm like, this is insane. Like, people that normally would not, people that I respect because they're very honest about stuff, they are giving it very, very high praises, which is crazy. So I want to see what it's all about. So let's see here. We got Best Narrative went to Disco Elysium. Best Score of Music went to Death Stranding. Best Auto Design went to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Strategy Game Fire Emblem Three Houses. Art Direction Control. Very glad that this got Best Art Direction because that game is awesome.
Yes.
And it needs more love. And then Best Multiplayer Game was Apex Legends. Ongoing game Fortnite, sadly. Beat Saber, of course, got Best VR. Best Performance, I was surprised that Mads Mikkelsen got it for Death Stranding because all these other actors had... I mean, I haven't seen the full scope of his performance, but like Norman Reedus was awesome. And Courtney Hope was awesome in Control. Ashley Birch sounds like she was probably awesome in The Outer Worlds. I don't know, I didn't see it, but like... I just feel like Mads Mikkelsen was such a smaller character in comparison. But
yeah, if you say Mads Mikkelsen or Norman Reedus, everyone's like, oh yeah, Norman Reedus.
Oh yeah, totally. And then the big one, Game of the Year, surprisingly, but kind of excitingly, went to Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. They didn't win anything else, but they did get this. So Control got Best Art Direction, Death Stranding got a bunch of awards, Resident Evil 2 surprisingly never got any awards, I don't think. Because there was a lot of people that were saying that would have been their Game of the Year, but I don't think it's fair to give that Game of the Year since it's a remake.
It's a remake.
So
I mean, I don't mind it getting something, but you know.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Sekiro? I know you have some thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, the more, because we kind of chatted about it right after the Game Awards, and the more I think about it, I guess it kind of makes sense because it came out early in the year. People had more time to digest it. It was already getting high praises back then. And I could see how over time people might fall into it due to word of mouth and reviews. Like, this is a good game, even though it's hard. And, you know, that's the same thing with Souls game. By the time Dark Souls 3 came out, everyone was playing that to some degree. Not everybody, but, you know, it had a bigger fan base, a bigger following, more people were falling into that. I mean, obviously became the whole Souls-like game to begin with. So like I can see how, some portion of that group fell into Sekiro and, ran with that. At the same time, it's not like God of War or Spider-Man where I heard about that all of that year, like continuously being brought up. This is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. Remember this, comparing stuff to this and that and that. And it's like those games didn't die all year. This one fell off after a few months. I felt like, it just kind of, it had a shining moment. Everyone liked it. Now it's gone. On to the next one. We have all these other things that are coming out this fall that people were excited for. E3 came and went and got people hyped for all this stuff coming out. And I just didn't see the writing on the wall. And, it's obviously maybe I wasn't listening to the right conversations that certain people were having that would have led me to believe that, yes, this is something that could be game of the year, while Death Stranding is obviously had a shorter amount of time to actually get its name out there, have people play it, sink their teeth into it. I can see how that might have affected this, but I feel like given the cast, given it's Kojima's first game, I kind of felt like people might lean more towards this.
It is. I think a lot of it. I think Death Stranding could have had a better chance had it, because I think the cutoff date for this was November 5th. No, hang on. November 18th. No, November 15th. And I think Death Stranding came out on the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. But whenever it came out, it was like right around the cutoff date. So this game barely made it into the classification for this,
right?
Which I also think didn't give people a lot of time, because this game is hard to digest. Death Stranding is like it's a lot to take in,
right? And
Sekiro isn't a lot because you already understand the formula. You understand how this game plays,
right?
It's like a mix between, it's like a Bloodborne meets Dark Souls meets, I don't know, what game do you fly around in and do all kinds of cool. It's like kind of like a Bayonetta meets Dark Souls meets Bloodborne in a way, because it's like kind of faster hack and slash, but then it also has the Souls-like experiences. At Death Stranding, it's,
even Souls,
it's complicated.
People who like the Dark Souls series said this gave them problems too.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's not like Dark Souls. It's similar, but different mechanics.
It was like harder because of that, I think. Yeah.
The different mechanics. So it's just, it felt like you either loved it or you didn't. And it felt more of like a cult classic than it would be like game of the year.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I looked up a Let's Play of this because I wanted to see what people thought of it. And this one guy's video has 3.2 million views on it. And I think a shit ton of those came after the Game Awards, because so many comments were in there. Because like, who came here after the Game Awards? Who was here after the Game Awards winner or whatever? I was like, that's funny.
That is funny.
But
wow.
Yeah. No, I mean it's got it. It's big.
And I think people might see this and try to play it and be like, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? It's not like an everybody game. When God of War has good story, great acting, great everything, and anyone can play that technically.
But see, I don't think God of War is an everything game. I haven't had a desire to go back into it. And like, I've been trying to, but...
And it's easy for someone to kind of jump into this game is kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, there's a barrier of entry, but it's low compared to Sekiro. Yeah. The barrier of entry is going to be really high for a lot of people, and I think it's going to turn a lot of people off.
Yeah.
At least someone who goes into God of War could be like, all right, I can get a few levels into this, and then I can decide if I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. But I'm
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, well, I think I'm still going to play it because I know it's a good game, but I think Death Stranding's also got that high barrier to entry too. So like in both games' defenses, like there wasn't a game that came out this year the Outer Worlds, I don't think so, but the Outer Worlds was just like, this is a Fallout game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where Death Stranding and Sekiro both brought something new to the table. I also think Control should have been more of this conversation, because I think Control is tight, start to finish. And it's a really good game, great gameplay, solid story, like just tons and tons of fun, great level design. Like there's so much going for this game. I feel like that could have been more of a conversation. I kind of would put, I haven't seen enough Sekiro, but I kind of put Control over Sekiro just for like the full package.
Right.
That's just me being biased because I like that. Also like that concept more.
Right.
But I don't know. It's I'm glad Sekiro got some things. I think they did deserve an award because it gets really high praise. Like it's got top reviews across the board, both from critics and fans. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool to see them get that recognition that they need.
Can we jump into how stupid the Game Awards still are?
Yeah,
even after all this time, like I'm blown away that I was laughing my ass off like half of the time, if not more, of like people talking, especially the people they would bring on stage to speak.
Oh
They're
my
like,
gosh.
I don't usually do this. And it's like, Sarah was making comments. She's like, yeah, you're pulling people out of their basements who never want to speak to anybody, and you're making them speak on live television. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
And they never had any direction on like what to do when they get on stage or when they leave stage. So it's like this awkward, wait, where do I go? What do I do? Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
they're
bye.
like,
yeah.
it's so awkward.
So weird. And I that struggle with that whole side stage that they have. Like, I don't get the point of it, because a lot of like the first like half of the awards took place on that little side stage. It's so frustrating because I feel like there's some of those awards that should have been given more recognition and they didn't. So that's kind of frustrating. But overall, I mean, I think the show was really good, and it like definitely had a top-notch production quality this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. It looked really clean.
But there was a lot of just like little fuck ups, and I'm like, really, y'all, come on. Like,
well, I feel like the little side area, the little side stage is for Keeley, because he doesn't want to be in front of people the whole time. So put him off to the side where you get the background and stuff, and he doesn't have to like
actually look at people.
Yeah, look at people.
That might be what it is, because everybody's like awkwardly looking to their left at like his side of his face.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like they put video of him on the main stage either. So like the people that are sitting in the audience,
interesting.
Like,
Don't get any of that.
I don't know if they even see him. It's like weird. Maybe they do, and I just didn't see it. But when they're showing the trailers, they put them on the main stage in the backdrop. But whenever he was on stage, you didn't see anything on the backdrop. So I don't know where how they can see him, unless there's like side monitors that were invisible. I
will say, like, any video game, live anything like this, like E3 and stuff, always so awkward. Like, just I guess you just can't. This is gaming. This is gamers. We're just awkward as hell, and we try to do big productions like the Grammys or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly. I mean, I feel like we're at a point now where we should be past that, the weirdness of it, because it's at the point, like the one person mentioned, they said that the video game industry makes more than movies and TV and music, and that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we aren't little tiny industries anymore. Like, this is a big ass industry that you think the awards show could be a little bit more polished in some capacity, but overall, it's
basically all
good.
Keeley, and every year it's getting a little bit better, even with all the awkwardness. Like, he's doing a great thing. I think we need this, as cringy as it can be. I'm still happy with it.
Yeah. So
still look forward to it every year. So
that's the Game Awards, everybody.
That's the Game Awards.